Right, tell me who you are, what you do, and why you do it.
I am Rob Renee. I have a company called QE Strong. It's an exciting all-natural health solutions company. We're trying to help people get off of big pharma drugs. Why I do it is really just literally to help people. You know, God made us an amazing body, and the immune system is incredible, but the problem is we don't feed it what it needs. Our diet is horrible. The foods that we're eating are being modified, and so they're not good, even though they say they're good.
What's the difference between the sticker on my phone and your stickers?
Yeah, it's just different purpose. That the EMF blockers are literally dealing with a electronic frequency, and ours is more of a health frequency. So it's more working internal with your body, and then it also has a lot of intentions built into it.
Glass bottle that's been charged with a frequency. So the bottle's just a glass bottle, but obviously on a cellular level, on an atomic level, whatever, you know, the smallest quantum is, it's charged, it's vibrating, so the water vibrates at the vibration that the bottle's at.
That stuff I also didn't believe. I just thought, oh, come on, give me a break. That just doesn't happen. But the more you research and see what that is true, then you start understanding why it's so important that we have these positive intentions within our product, because it has a good physical impact.
Right, tell me who you are, what you do, and why you do it.
Sounds great. I am Rob Renee, and I have a company called QE Strong. It's an exciting all-natural health solutions company. We're trying to help people get off of big pharma drugs. Why I do it is really just literally to help people. You know, what happened during the pandemic was a really tragic thing, and I saw a lot of just hiding of true information and real information, and an agenda being pushed on our world. And so I was just trying to do research on all natural health, and was going to start creating a supplement brand to help people with all natural supplements that came from, you know, the earth. And then I ended up finding, you know, God led me to, in my opinion, to these solutions where a gentleman's been working on quantum energy technology for 30 years. And one of our marquee products is a pain relief product. And it's just absolutely amazing. That's helping people, you know, reduce their drug intake and get them off of big pharma drugs. So the things that I'm excited about, and doing it with no drugs and no side effects. So it's been a real exciting journey. So there's a 2-minute or 3-minute overview of my life story.
Yeah, so I can see you've got a t-shirt behind you saying I am free of pain, and you've got something else in the background that also says experience natural relief. So what have you created, or what do you work with that helps people reduce their pain?
Yeah, it's really exciting. It's the quantum energy pain relief patch is our marquee product. So literally this little teeny thing, you can see one of them is gone. It's a little patch that we call it the quantum energy skin patch. You apply it to your body. And the awesome thing about it is on that patch, it has 3 important things. It has a frequency on it, and a positive intention, and Bible verses that we put onto the patch. And so what we spray this crystalline structure, and that little crystalline structures, the little microscopic structures, can hold information, similar to how a computer can hold information. These little crystalline structures can hold information. And so that's where we program those 3 things: the frequency, the intention, and the Bible verses. So when you apply it to your body, it connects to the energy system in your body, which that's stuff that a few years ago, I really had no understanding of. And I didn't believe it at first, because I was like, that sounds really strange. But the more research I did, it's just phenomenal, right? Our body literally is made up of energy, and even all the way down to the cellular level, it interacts with itself through vibration. So from cell to cell, they communicate and interact with vibrations, which were AKA our frequencies. So I thought frequency sounded like a really strange, weird word to me as well. But then I realized and understood that frequencies are literally everywhere, right? Sound is a frequency, light is a frequency, and in order to communicate on these wonderful, cellular devices we all use, it uses frequencies. So once you understand frequencies aren't weird, and then that we can harness the good frequencies, because there's good and bad. There's frequencies that are really bad for your health. But if you can harness the good ones, and you can understand how positive intentions have an impact on your physical body, that's another thing that I thought was really amazing that I learned. And then, I like the word of the Lord, so we like to put Bible verses in it for those who believe. But even if you don't believe in the Bible, it doesn't matter, because the product still has the positive intentions and frequencies, and is going to help you. So it's a really cool product.
Yeah, so obviously on my phone right now, I've got what's called an EMF sticker, which blocks the negative vibrations coming from the phone, I presume by emitting a positive vibration, which counteracts the negative vibration. So recently on YouTube or Instagram, a video came up of somebody holding a EMF reader, and she had the phone next to her. With just the 4G coming out the phone, her body was picking up the EMF and was registering a high frequency. They then turned the phone off, put the phone in airplane mode. Her energy went right down. The reading went right down.
Yeah.
And then she put the phone on charge, and she was holding on to the EMF reader.
Way up, right?
And the thing just skyrocketed up. So the fact she had her phone on charge, connected to 4G next to her, she wasn't holding the phone, but it was just next to her. Her energy field was absorbing that energy, those negative ions in the phone, and the energy from the wall was going into her body. And if you think about what that sticker's doing, it's counteracting the negative vibrations. Your sticker is essentially doing the same thing. It's knowing that our body is going to react to the smallest frequencies around us. And just like if you put a finger in a pond, you create a ripple, or you put a bit of food in the river, all the fish will just swarm towards it, right? It recognizes what has just landed on the river. Maybe it's a fly, and all the fish will just go and eat it. So what you're saying is that when you put your sticker any part of the body, all the cells respond to it, and it takes that charge from the sticker and ultimately becomes that charge, that positive frequency.
Yeah, what's so cool, it's very, very similar exactly what you just mentioned, because our body is all made up of energy, right? So the cool thing about it, I like to equate it to, you put the patch on and it connects to the energy system within your body. And since your whole body is energy, it's basically working throughout your entire body. So just like when you stick your finger in electrified water, it's water, it's electrified everywhere. So as soon as you apply it, then it works throughout your entire body. And then for a pain example, it interrupts that negative signal your body is dealing with from your pain to your brain. And then when your body doesn't recognize that pain anymore, your brain waves start to smooth out, which is really, really fascinating. And then your body is in a much better healing state when it's balanced. And so you're exactly right. So the same type of analogy that you're talking about with the EMF blockers, our product is doing a very, very similar thing, but a lot of times within the body. One of the doctors I just interviewed, I'm launching my I Am Pain-Free podcast and in a few weeks, and one of the doctors I just interviewed is amazing. He's like, most pain comes from either internal toxins or external toxins. So just like what you were mentioning with the EMF, that's an external toxin, right? And then I love that, just to expand on your topic there about EMF and that plugging that phone into the charger. Guess where most of us put our phones at night, right? We put them right next to our heads on a charger. So all that negative frequencies are coming and connecting to your body. So I implore people to just don't do that. Put it in another room. Turn the ringer up loud if you wanna be interrupted, at night. But if you have children or something where you need to be notified, but just get that thing out of your bed. But anyway, I got distracted on that topic. But I'm not sure where I was headed, but
But yeah,
anyway.
so growing up, I used to sleep with the binaural beats sound just going off in my ear. I
Wow.
used to have my phone on charge. My phone used to be on the pillow because I
Oh
didn't want to
no.
wake my parents up. So it had to be quiet so my parents didn't wake up. So the only way to get it was to put it by my head.
Oh
And I
no.
now realize how bad that would
Yeah.
have been. Not only is
Yeah.
it on charge, it's connected to 4G, it's functioning, so energy's also being used. I was sleeping with it literally on my head, and I
Yeah.
can't
That's
even
amazing.
believe I used to do that. Now I turn it off and I put it in another room.
Yeah.
And there's so many studies now of brain tumors. Now, years ago, when you say tumor, you'd probably think, well, tumors are, say fairly uncommon, but when you think about a tumor, you might think of, I can't even think of a tumor, right? If you said, what's the most common tumor? I couldn't really say it, but I know that hearing a brain tumor is extremely rare. And all of a sudden, over the last 10 years, there's so many brain tumor stories.
Yeah.
Even where I live, there's so many people that have died of brain tumors. What is the most common thing that has happened in our life since 10 years ago? It's phones. We're
Yeah.
always on our phones. Just being on the phone, I know
Yeah.
that if you were to scan your head with a heat sensor camera, you'd see that when you remove the phone from your head, it's all red, right?
Yeah.
And I never, ever go on my phone with it on my head. I always have it on loudspeaker and I sort of hold it here.
That's
Believe it
smart.
or not, when I do occasionally do that, I can feel pain in my head, in my ear.
Right.
And I'm
Right.
talking like 10 seconds. I can feel pain. I don't have AirPods anymore. I used to listen to
Yeah.
AirPods. I
I
don't
used
really
to do
listen
that
to,
too.
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't really listen to stuff in AirPods anymore because my ear starts to hurt.
Right.
Earwax starts to build up because of all the energy. It's just penetrating and blocking my ear. And I just get this massive pain. I'm thinking, where is this going? There is
Right.
just, and then kids are sitting
Yeah.
on iPads on their bed. They're having lunch in a restaurant and they're on an iPad. The iPad's giving off more energy than a phone. It's twice as big. The kids sitting there with the iPad on their body, on their laptop, looking at Peppa Pig. And
Yeah.
fucking hell, they'll be lucky if they make it till 10 years old if
I
phones have
know.
caused this much damage this soon.
Yeah, it's getting scary for sure. And it's not getting any, I literally this morning, scrolling through my feed, I saw a great meme that showed in the 60s and 70s, people at the gym and, they're all working out and talking. And then you do today and everybody has the device, right? It's like they're sitting there at the gym, not talking to anybody, and they're laying on the gym unit, look on their phone. So it's just like, it's pathetic. And every restaurant you go into, you see a family of four sitting there, and all four of them are not talking; they're talking on their phone, right? So we need to get back to the way it used to be, right? Where we all communicate and have conversations with people, and then from a health perspective, we just need to get back to God made us an amazing body. That's what I've been having so much fun doing research on how complex our human body is, and the immune system that's innate within us is incredible, but the problem is we don't feed it what it needs, right? So we don't give it the proper nutrients, and our diet is horrible. The foods that we're eating are being modified, and so they're not good, even though they say they're good. Then the joke of the food pyramid that we grew up with in the States, right, it's a joke. So you look at that pyramid and what they tell you that's recommended to eat is not the things that you should be feeding your body. So we need to get back to the basics and looking and understanding our body and then feeding it with the right nutrients and minerals, and then our body can start healing itself. It's so incredible. So that's a big life mission of mine, is I'm going to use this company I'm working on to help people relieve a lot of their symptoms and stop taking drugs. But then guess what? What's the next step? the next step is to learn how to get rid of the problem, right? And so that's why I'm doing a lot of work with these doctors that I'm interviewing. It's like, okay, let's understand how to do a cleanse, within your body. And why would you want to cleanse? And then you get your body back to working the way it's supposed to work. Then you feed it the right nutrients. And then guess what? Your chronic pain starts to go away because your body's healing itself. And the stuff that people have had for 20 years go away because you're giving your body what it needs, right? You're getting it water, you're getting it exercise, and you're getting it the right nutrients and minerals. And man, your body is so complex and amazing that if you spend some time with it and do it right, you can heal a lot of the problems that people have today. So it's going to be a fun mission, and I'm excited to try to help as many people as I can.
What's the difference between the sticker on my phone and your stickers?
Yeah, it's just different purpose. That the EMF blockers are literally dealing with a electronic frequency, and ours is more of a health frequency. So it's more working internal with your body, and then it also has a lot of intentions built into it. So I'm sure you're familiar with Dr. Emoto and his water experiments and rice experiments. Have you heard of him before, Oliver?
Yeah, so I've actually got a bottle downstairs, a glass bottle that's been charged with a certain frequency that when you put the water in, it charges the water. So there's a lot more bubbles in the water when it's in the bottle because the bottle's charging the water versus a normal glass with water. Have you heard about those before?
Yeah, I've got a hydrogen machine that helps do that. Is yours a hydrogen one as well?
No, mine's an actual glass bottle that's been charged with a frequency. So the bottle's just a glass bottle, but obviously on a cellular level, on a atomic level, whatever, the smallest quantum is, it's charged, it's vibrating. So the water vibrates at the vibration that the bottle's at. It's not a machine, it's just a bottle.
Okay. Got it. No, I'd love to learn more. That sounds something that I haven't heard about before. I'd love to know more about it. But Dr. Emoto, I love his experiments, right? Because this is his book, the hidden messages in water. So people may have heard about it. If you hadn't heard about it, go YouTube Dr. Emoto and his rice and water experiments, because it's beautiful. But one of the main things it explains, just with your intentions, you can have a physical impact on an external thing, like a bottle of water or like a crystal in water. So he, literally how you project and what you say to something has a physical impact on something else. And when you start to understand that, it's like, oh my gosh, that's really amazing. So not only is it your thoughts and what you're thinking, but what you actually say and your intentions of what you say have a physical impact on external things. That stuff I also didn't believe. I just thought, oh, come on, give me a break. That just doesn't happen. But the more you research and see what that is true, then you start understanding why it's so important that we have these positive intentions within our product, because it has a good physical impact on it. So one of the experiments I love is his rice one. He gets these 3 bottles of rice. He has the same amount of rice and water in the three jars. And then for 30 days, he does this. One of them, he says, I hate you. And he swears at it and gets mad at it. The middle one, I don't remember which order, but the one of them, he says, I love you. And he cares for it and he loves it. And then the third one, he just totally ignores. And it's unbelievable. After 30 days, you see the results. It's so cool, because the one that he's mad at and says, I hate you to, is just disgusting and moldy and gross. And the one that he says, I love you to and cares for is basically still white. It's a little cloudier than it was because it's been in rice, in water for 30 days. Then the one that he ignores is almost as bad as the one that he's told the bad intentions towards. So it's just, and then the fun thing is, hundreds or thousands probably of people have done his experiments, and they did get the same results, right? So it's super cool to see that. But so when you start understanding that those intentions and that they actually do have a physical impact on things, then our product starts to make a lot of sense, right? With the right frequency in there, with the right intention. And then we change the Bible verses that are specific to the problem as well. Like our anxiety product, that is a great anxiety product for people who are stressed out. And it has a lot of good verses that talk about, don't be anxious, right? And there's some great verses that are specific to that problem that we put in to the product. So when it connects to your body, it really helps. And then we like to combine our product with a prayer guide. So you're using every day we want you to say we have Monday through Sunday, a guide, and every day we want you to say it out loud. So you're actually saying the intention out loud that I'm going to be pain-free, right? And then you say one of a Bible verse that's related, and that you're declaring it with your mouth, and you're praying, and you're reading it with your eyes, and you're hearing it with your ears. So and then you combine that with the touch, with the patch, and using 4 out of your 5 God-given senses to help you relieve pain. And it just makes our product much more effective. And it's really helping people. So that's been super exciting to see the transformations. I had this one woman who came to a conference of ours. We were at a conference sharing our product, and she came up and we had some samples. And so she took one of our samples away, and she came back an hour later and said, guess what? And I was like, what? And she's like, I deal cards at a casino, right? So she does this motion, 8 hours a day, every day. And she's been doing it for a really long time. In the last 10 years, she hasn't been able to lift her shoulder because her shoulder is so sore from doing this motion, 8 hours a day, that she couldn't lift it up. She couldn't wear her purse on this side of her shoulder because she couldn't lift it up. So she, an hour later, she came and she went like this. She goes, this is so exciting. She was so happy because she hadn't been able to lift it in so long. And then she came back the next day and said, guess what? And I was like, what? And she's like, not only can I lift my shoulder, but I was able to sleep because, I didn't have pain when I was sleeping. I'm rolling over and my shoulder would hurt. And she says, your product is just a godsend, right? It's amazing. So just hearing those transformational stories, and we have hundreds of them, it's just real exciting to impact people's lives in a positive way, right? And help people get healthy and try to do it naturally and faithfully is what I like to say.
So my friends created this bracelet, which again is similar to the patch, I would imagine. It has a certain frequency that it's charged, and then as it's attached to your body responds to it. I haven't bought it, but it's been on my mind to explore that because, I knew about this years ago.
Right.
And I used to forget about it. And then I've obviously got the thing on my phone, and then you mentioned your thing. And I'm like, does it actually work? How does it do it? But I imagine that the bracelet works in the exact same way your thing does, but you can program it to any frequency. So if yours works in that way, his should work in a very similar way. Have you heard of the bracelets?
Yeah, there's lots of different types of bracelets and medallions. People will wear it, on as jewelry and other things. We even have a pet one that we put on their collar, right? So you put a little medallion on their collar, a pet tag basically, and then you put the patch on the other side of the tag, and then it helps. We've got one that for dogs that helps with pain, and then we combine our strength and stamina one. So it gives them a little, we call it pep and pain, because it gives them a little peppiness and helps reduce their pain. It's for like older dogs who are going through arthritis and have back and hip issues, which, millions of dogs do. And this product's really helping the animal kingdom too. So it's really fun.
So the dog's got, say, arthritis in its leg, and all it does is wear your thing on a tag on its neck.
Yeah. So you just
and it affects its leg.
Yeah, because it does the same thing. It connects to the dog's energy system, and then helps their pain. And dogs are awesome. There's no placebo effect with a dog, right? It's like you can't tell the dog that you're gonna feel better and the dog feel better. The dog has to literally feel better, and for it. So for it to work on animals is just another proof that the product works, right? And it really is helping people. So it's fun.
So it doesn't even have to touch the dog's skin.
Right.
It can just dangle from the collar, and the dog's energy field will pick up that energy from the tag.
That's right. We even have a card that's a little bit more robust than the patches, because it looks like a credit card, and all you have to do is have it within a couple of inches of your body. That frequency just needs to connect to your energy system. So that's how the dog patch works as well. is it needs to be close. And then when it is close, the frequency vibrates and connects to your system. And the cool thing is we've proven that, which shows within 5 seconds using these little EEG, this is a Muse 2. It's just one of those devices where you put on your brain, right? Or you put on your head. And what it does is it evaluates your brain waves. So you can look at your phone and it shows you your brain waves as it's evaluating it. And then when you apply our patch or our product to the body, within 5 seconds, you can tell the brain waves start changing because it's connected to the system. And if you're in pain, that we've done a study with people in pain, and then you see that connect, and then within a few minutes, their pain levels start reducing. So it's
fucking hell. So they can that thing on their head, and you see the brain waves of their pain, and then they put your sticker on them, and the brain waves change because the levels of pain change.
Yeah, which is really fascinating, because when they're in pain, your brain is in strife. So it's literally it's active. It's like there's something wrong. This hurts. This sucks. I don't like it. And so your brain is you'll see the brain waves are pretty active. And then when you put the patch on, and after a few minutes, you start seeing the brain waves start evening out, because they're no longer, your body's no longer in that strife that it was when you were in pain. So it's really cool. And it just shows proof that the product's working. So it's really fun.
So when you say that the dog can just simply have it dangling from its collar and it's not even touching the dog, and the dog's energy center is picking up that, and that's becoming the default vibration, that tells me that is exactly the same as when people say don't stand under a tree in a thunderstorm, because if there's a lightning bolt, it will find a tree. The tree has an energy field. The lightning will go towards the tree. And if you're by the tree, it will pick up your energy and you'll get struck.
Yeah.
And also the same for a train track. I always thought, well, electricity doesn't conduct through rubber. So how come I can't just stand on the track if I've got rubber shoes on? And then someone said it jumps to your leg. And I was like, the energy will jump. So what you're saying is that the main source of the energy in this case is the track, the lightning, and our body. And if there's another current, it will pick it up. So my question is, why would it pick up that current, and why would it become that default current as opposed to staying with its own current? Does it matter if the current of the tag is a higher or lower vibration? Or is it like quantum physics, where as soon as you observe it, it simply becomes that, or it changes? It doesn't matter what the frequency is. It's the fact that there's an interference. That's
a great question. Scientifically, I don't know the answer to that question, but in my understanding, we're not replacing their energy. We're adding to it, right? So your body is already full of energy and has a signal, and it's doing its thing. And what we're doing is adding an element to it that is dealing with the particular problem, right? So it goes and helps your body be more in balance, and then helps it resolve the problem, right? Like pain, for example, right? It interrupts that signal that from your pain to your brain is the best way that I think about it. But yeah, it's a quantum thing. So it's I don't think it's replacing the current energy system. I think it's just adding to it, right? And maybe replacing a negative effect, or at least counterbalancing, kind of like the EMF thing you mentioned. It's counterbalancing the negative effect that's happening within the body, and thus helping.
So there's been, in the magician's world, if you get a toothpick and put it in an orange, and then you get some foil and you put it on top of the toothpick, and you stand back and you observe it, you can make the thing move. And if you're just simply focusing on it and just flowing with the focus, it starts to turn left. The minute I become aware that it's going left, it goes right. So there's something to do with when I observe my own observation, it changes the outcome. So if my energy field is just simply, vibrating around me,
right,
it's picking up certain things. It's picking up the laptop frequency. It's picking up my phone frequency, light frequency. Now, I can't feel it. I can't explain it. But on a quantum level, you could see my energy being affected by the laptop. The same as if you walked into a room full of negative people,
Right.
you'll feel nervous, you'll feel anxious, you'll feel a bit sick because of these negative energies. So you
Yep.
feel the vibrations of the people you're with. And if you go to a football stadium or a church, for example, everyone's praising the Lord, everyone's feeling great, everyone's cheering. You
Yeah.
get chills down the back of your neck and you feel this amazing amount of energy, but
True.
on a massive level. So these little tags, like the bracelet, like the sticker that you've created, our
Yeah.
bodies are constantly scanning the environment. And if
Right.
there's a thing there, it's now got to not only think about its own energy, but that thing. So if you've got pain,
Yeah.
you're stuck in your own current of that default feeling of pain. As soon as
Right.
something else comes involved, your body's now focused on that and it's forgetting its usual current, the same as people might smoke weed. The pain's still there, of course, but your body's so focused on the effects of the drug that you kind of forgotten about the pain.
Yeah, I mean, I think that could be another analogy, right? That it's focusing on the positive versus the negative, right? That's one way to look at it. I think it's counterbalancing, but literally, I'm not a quantum physics physicist, so when you get down to the actual nitty gritty and how it works, it's really hard to understand. But the fact that it does work, that's what I am so excited about. Is that when you do apply our products, and we have 14 different products. So pain is the main one, just because people love it because they know if they're in pain, right? If you have a shoulder that's been hurting you, you apply the patch and the pain goes away, then you know that the patch was helping you. But we have a product for allergy relief. We have one for anxiety. I mentioned the clarity and focus is a great one nowadays, just because of like the pandemic. People who got COVID, I got COVID, millions and millions of people got COVID. And one of the side effects of COVID is not long haul. It's called brain fog. And so when you have brain fog, it just is, it's harder for you to think and takes you a little bit longer to remember things. And it's just frustrating because you're like, gosh, you walk into a room and you're like, why'd I walk into this room? You just have this fog over your brain. And our clarity and focus product is great because it really helps you think and be more efficient and effective in your thinking. So a lot of students love it when they're studying for exams and going to take exams. Right, they use our clarity and focus product to be more effective in their test taking, and so it's another cool product.
See, I have really bad hay fever, and to me, hay fever's my own immune system is so strong and so alert that any pathogens that shouldn't be there, it gets to work. It sneezes it out. People think it means you've got a bad immune system. It's absolutely wrong. My immune is so good that as soon as I smell something that shouldn't be there, it's protecting me. Are you saying that your patch can do something to stop my body from reacting in this like fucking annoying way of protecting me? Do you reckon it could affect me?
I'm excited for you to try it because it's been really phenomenal. My oldest brother was on Claritin D for like 10 years. And he now doesn't take Claritin D at all. He just uses our allergy patch every day. He sticks it on his elbow, and he likes the patch versus, like I mentioned, that card, because the card you put in a pocket and you misplace it really easy. He's like, hey, I want it on my body. I know that I'm not going to have allergies today. So, and he hasn't taken Claritin D since, and it's just phenomenal. He is the most skeptical person you've ever met, right? So if it will work on my brother, it will work on anybody. So it's really,
and his hay
really
fever,
cool.
He doesn't have hay fever when it's on
I
his
don't
arm.
know if I'm not sure if it's hay fever or what, but he had pollen allergy for sure. So it
hay
would,
fever.
and I guess that's the same term. But yeah, I'm excited for you to try it. So we'll definitely get you some. Let me know how it goes.
Is it one of those things where, if you go into the intention that it's not going to work, your mind's powerful, you'll get the outcome you're expecting? So if you're
100%.
walking on fire.
I think that happens with everything. You go into a surgery and you say the surgery's not going to work. Guess what? The dang surgery's not going to work, right? Even though the physician might done everything right. I think that works with almost everything, right? I think it works with supplements. I think it works with our patches. I think the mind is a very powerful thing, and you have to go. That's why we like that prayer guide, that we can just call it intention. If you don't believe in the Bible, fine, just use the intentions, right? Just say the intentions, declare that it's going to work for you, and your mind is going to help you dramatically. So that's why we like to start people off every day just doing that quick act, and then you apply the patch, and the combination of your positive intention and then the product itself having those positive intentions is really going to make the product more effective. Right? And so we have a money back guarantee. If it doesn't work, just send it back. But I would venture to say that the large majority of the people who it doesn't work for are the people who have that attitude, right? To say, this isn't going to work for me. I don't believe this. And guess what? It's not.
So what's amazing is this is quantum physics, like literally, because if you keep observing of the observer, it doesn't matter how many times it's been observed. It's the last person who's observed it that wins. So for example, if you believe that it is going to work, then that patch is like the upper hand. It's the ultimate. It works. If somebody says, oh, it's not going to work, you counteract it. But if somebody else observes it, right, like you, for example, observing me, observing it, your mind is so powerful that you can actually make it work and counteract my negative thought system. But then if someone observes you, observing me, their default vibration of outcome is the default one. Almost like the black cat, and walking under a ladder and walking over drains.
Yeah.
If you believe that this is going to be bad luck's going to happen, but you can observe that and change it. My mum is always looking at candles every time we go out, making sure we blow them out, making sure the windows are closed. And I didn't experiment. I observed her, and she fucked up, and she didn't blow the candle out. And I said, Mum, did you blow the candle out? She goes, oh my God. And I said, don't worry, I did, but I made you not blow it out. So, if I go into this with the fact it's not going to work, it won't. But it's more the fact that we rely on these man-made products to change our belief system because we don't have our own belief system anyway. For example, we don't need medication when we can meditate. But if you don't believe meditation can heal you, then you're going to rely on medication. If you don't believe that these allergies can be changed, whether it's the tag, whether it's a shaman or whatever, you need something external to change your mindset. Otherwise, you would have already changed it. And then when these objects and things come into our lives and they create the outcome, that's the first step to telling us that we can change what we think is not possible to change. But then someone else can observe that thing the same as we can and change the outcome.
Yeah.
So isn't it fascinating how it's like these layers of quantum physics where whoever's observing the last observer is the person that dominates the outcome? Isn't that just fascinating?
It is fascinating. It's what's fascinating to me too, is we have a lot of the smartest scientific minds in the world, and they still haven't been able to really figure it out. Right. And so that's really fun, but it is awesome to see these experiments and understand things. And when you start to have that basic understanding of a belief system, have a faith in something, my faith is in God. Right. And I believe that he made us wonderfully and fearfully, and that our bodies are incredible. But since I have that foundation, and I start researching these things like frequencies, God made it all, in my opinion, right? So it's not weird and it's not woo-woo. It's just that's what God made, and it's just we're starting to understand these things that God has put into the world, and we just didn't understand. And so our level of understanding is improving, and we're starting to see these things. And I get so frustrated with the world today because everybody is watching TV, and they're so distracted, and the media is feeding them with a bunch of really bad information, and then social media it feeds them with bad information, and people just go on their life just with blinders on, right? And they don't open up and understand that this is an amazing world, and we can help ourselves from a health perspective. Like you said, the meditation example was awesome, right? Because if you don't believe that it's going to work, it's not going to help you. But by meditating, you can, like, your mind is amazing and what your body can do. It can help balance itself, and it can help heal itself if you give it. Like I said, I think our body needs the right nutrients, it needs the right materials, and it needs to be in balance. A lot of times your just body is so bad out of balance because of all the negative things we've done to it, like you and I, putting that darn phone on our head forever, you sleeping with it as a child, right? It's just like we need to get our bodies back to a natural state, and then you can start improving it. And so that's a big part of what I'm going to be passionate about trying to help people with is, okay, let's get rid of the junk, right? And then let's get our bodies back to as close as we can to the base level. And then guess what? Then we start improving it. And man, the transformations from the bad to the balanced to the good is just super exciting, because it's really helping people with a life that's much more fulfilling, because they feel like living, right? They feel like excited to do things. And when you're just in miserable shape and you feel bad and you're anxious and you're in pain, or these things that people are in, it's not a great existence, right? It's like, this stinks. And that's why I think the suicide rates are so high, is just because people are in this negative state. So let's help those people. Let's get them back to a balance, and then let's transition them into an amazing life that's worth living, right? If you have breath in your lungs today, God has a plan for you. So there's a reason why you're here today. So maybe you're listening to this show today, and it's like, oh, I need to start making some changes and get my body back into balance. And then when I get into the balance, I can help it go forward and heal. So I'm excited to help people along that journey.
Right, before we end it, if you had one day left to live, what is the one thing that you'd want to tell the world?
Oh man, I'd say that Jesus is the way. That you need to understand that He's your Lord and Savior, and that you can live a life abundantly if you have Him. So that would be my dying wish for my worst enemy, all the way to my best loved ones is that message. So that would be it.
And anything you want to promote before we leave?
Yeah, I'm excited about my podcast. So I Am Pain Free podcast. Go find it on all the podcast places, and then you can. I've got an amazing resource there. The things that it's got a private podcast that you can listen to with amazing interviews with doctors. And then a lot of resources to help you get back to that balance state that I mentioned. And then you can start thriving. And then just QEstrong.com is where you can find those patches. So if you have pain, you have allergies, you have anxiety, you need to sleep, you have brain fog, use our products, and it's going to help you dramatically. Let's get you back to balance so you can thrive.
All right. Appreciate your time, and thank you very much.
Yeah. God bless you. Appreciate it.
All right. Take care. Thanks for listening. If you like this episode, please remember to subscribe, turn the bell notifications on, like the episode, and comment below. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's YesKingOliver. Take a look at the other videos to your side. And if you just want to listen to this podcast, you can do so on Apple and Spotify and most other platforms by going to talkwitholiver.com.